Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So today we're back here again, Truth in Bikinis, and we're talking about relationships, red flags, signs you shouldn't ignore. You know, our ladies of nowadays, when they see love now, they will see all these signs, negative signs in relationships that they shouldn't ignore. But because of love, you put their heads inside, forgetting that that particular love now you're putting your head, which might choke you tomorrow. So there are some red flags that shouldn't be ignored. Yeah, we know that there are some things, yeah, that happens, or maybe some characters we see and then we can actually condone. There are some characters that can be, let's say, let's just manage, but there are some that, like, naturally, generally, it can't be managed, it can't be condoned. Like, there is no possibility of this one, let's just see how to. If you want to see how to, you might end up harming yourself, you might end up hurting yourself, you might end up damaging yourself. And we want a good relationship tomorrow that will bring about happy marriage where for forever and ever the whole country will end up being a very nice and peaceful home. So today we'll be in relationship. So I have it with me, Emem. You're welcome. So we'll be hearing from Emem. What are those
Sorry, I didn't know my mic was on mute. So we're talking about relationship red flags, things that women would normally ignore when they're in a relationship, especially when love is involved, especially when you have fallen, you have some assaulted into love. They say they don't used to advise a woman that is in love. I mean, so women tend to overlook all of those things. And from my perspective, I'm thinking if you're going to be doing anything long term, you ought to be sure that there are things, whatever you are dealing with short term is something that you can manage long term. Yeah, there are people who can manage abuse long term. Actually, we've seen people who have lived through abuse. And if you look at it, most of the women who were our mothers, most of the women who are our mothers, most mothers from back in those years, a good number of them lived through abuse. And nobody told them, oh, this is an abusive situation. They just felt that this is what it meant to be a virtuous woman, to be a submissive wife, to be a good woman. So these are the things that in this generation we are looking at it and we are saying, no, I can't deal with this. And people are actually telling themselves the truth and walking away from situations like that. And these are the things that we should talk about. There are things that you really cannot deal with long term. And there's really no reason to negotiate. Don't negotiate it. If you know you cannot deal with it long term, there's really no reason why you should negotiate that situation. You're just going to look at it and say, okay, I can't deal with this long term. And it could be anything, yeah? It could literally be anything. It could be, oh, the girl doesn't like to wash plates, or the girl doesn't like to cook. It could be the guy is not domesticated, he doesn't know how to clean the house. Because I mean, if you got pregnant and you maybe you were giving bed rest, who's going to be cleaning the house if you can afford a maid? Who's going to go to the market? Who's going to do the chores? Like, if you can't help, and you can't afford to outsource it at the time. So these are some of a lot of things to consider, and it normally would be dependent on the person involved or the people involved in that situation. But I mean, there are a lot of general issues, like when we talk about abuse, for instance, violence, gender-based violence, a violent situation. These ones we don't negotiate it. When we talk about getting hit by a man like continually, and there are women who say, "Oh, he's just when he loves me," and then they make excuses like, "Oh, he hit me because I talked to him a certain way. I think I need to change," and they're stuck, and those are the ones we can't negotiate. If someone is hitting you in a relationship, you really shouldn't negotiate it. Like, you really shouldn't excuse it. You shouldn't explain it away as, oh, it's my fault, I spoke to him a certain way. Because I mean, people are beginning to talk about it like that. Like, okay, women should learn how to talk to men. Women should learn how to behave around men, because you can actually treat guys anger and he can put his hand on you. But I grew up to know that men walk away from situation, or I mean, anybody should walk away from situation that is potentially harmful or that's going to put you in a violent situation. Just walk away. So which one is because you triggered him, he hit you, and he will hit you and he go come out blood. I've seen a lot of funny situations, like the man is hitting a girl and the eye is all red, and then she's like, she's crazy stuff, yeah. But women put themselves in that situation and they still explain it away like, oh, if I spoke to him a certain way, maybe he would have considered me differently. For me, one of the biggest red flags I think that most people don't pay attention to is the upbringing of the person you're getting involved with. Who raised these people? Who are the parents? Who is his mother? Who is his father? Who are his siblings? Sometimes I may not even come to the siblings here because they may not really have that much of an impact, except maybe not the last born, on God. But when I say who raised these people, the mother, the father, the situation at home would actually tell on the guy. If the man is someone who grew up around loving parents, parents who had understanding, parents who never quarreled, if you, I mean, he will not know how to argue with you, he will not know how to quarrel with you. But if he grew up around a man who shuts down his wife when the wife tries to talk, who even hits the wife, who talks to the children anyhow, and then the mother is now the person who endures that situation and understands that situation and even say, oh, don't talk to my husband anyhow. Oh, that's my lord. In the evening time, after he has insulted her in the morning, she will still cook and package it and put on the table and then go and kneel down and serve him. And that guy is watching that situation. What's happening is that he's going to grow to think that that's the perfect example of what a woman looks like or what a wife should look like. And so he doesn't understand it when you are standing up to, oh, you shouldn't hit me, oh, you shouldn't talk to me like that. He doesn't understand. He's thinking, this girl is not like my mother. This girl is not a good girl. Because he has never seen a woman stand up to a man like in such a situation where you are being abusive and somebody is telling you, no, I do not like that you spoke to me that way. And sometimes it could just be a word. There are people who don't even get in an argument before they start insulting you. And somebody just say something like, you're an idiot, or you're a fool, stuff like that. And you're like, no, you would not speak to me that way. We will address issues and you would leave out insults. He doesn't understand that. He's thinking in his mind that this one is not like my mother. And you see most of those men like that, they always be like, oh, I want to marry a woman like my mom. You think it's a good example? It's not a good example. They are looking for somebody that they can lord over. They're looking for somebody they can sit on. They are looking for someone they can abuse and the person will not say anything. They are looking for someone who doesn't know their rights, who doesn't know how to stand up for something they don't accept. They're just looking for someone who is submissive in that the way the mother was to their father. So I mean that's why I now talk about it like, do you know who raised this guy? Like he can be a nice guy, he can even pray in tongues. I've seen someone like that praise in tongues on fire, and you be thinking this one is a child of God, only to find out that this young man is not married. He's in a relationship with a girl he doesn't want to marry, but he has impregnated that girl like twice, and the girl has 2 children for him, but he doesn't want to marry her. But he's tongue speaking, Holy Ghost filled, and is looking for the next girl that is going to be a victim to his, idiosyncrasies. And so these are the things that maybe most times we don't even pay attention to. We just pick simple things and be like, oh, okay, he speaks in tongues. I mean, most of us who love the Lord, we just go see a guy, he speaks in tongues and he prays, he talks Christianese, so he must be a good person. And we don't pay attention to all of those things, and we just walk into a situation that can just be potentially suffocating for the rest of your life, and you'll be struggling to stay afloat, struggling to stay alive. And we really shouldn't have some things that we should pay attention to, and make sure you don't even get in that situation. Don't put yourself there. It's too crazy to be there. Another thing I think that women don't also pay attention to is the fact that most women, most, maybe not all, there are women who just want to be housewives and they are content with that. But there are some women who are ambitious, who have a lot of ambition. They want to be like this. They want to travel. They want to do business. They want good money. Maybe they grew up in a poor home and they are looking to actually do better than their mothers did or their fathers did. They are looking to actually rise higher, and then they meet this guy who lacks ambition, who doesn't want anything to do with your goals and your vision, just wants to be married, have a small home, work civil service work, and bring salary, and you people manage it. And you should be a good girl and manage it and not want too much. And girls like that now go and try to be managing with somebody like that. Eventually it's going to bring you down to his level, and you are going to find out that the rest of your life you are going to live unfulfilled, unhappy, something that should have just never happened, something that could have been totally avoided. And we see it's happening every time. Like, there are men who keep quiet and just wait till they get married to a girl, and once they get married to her, they strip her of everything. They make sure that they strip everything. They don't want you to work. You are not going to work. In my house, you are not working. No, you are not. You don't even keep friends. You have to money. You have to be reporting to the Lord before you go anywhere. And people, I mean, you would see the signs. You see the signs in the kind of conversations they have. But if people are getting in relationships and they're not talking because they are busy tearing pattern, tearing their pants and all of that, trying to. Yeah, nobody says you should not do. We know we are doing already. But we're talking about the things that matter. If you're thinking of that relationship lasting long term, talk about the things that can be potentially dangerous for you. They can put you in a very terrible situation. Talk about it. Ask him, oh, what do you think about this thing? Just ask questions like, what do you think about a woman who works? What do you think? Oh, what if your wife earns more than you? Do you know that I was watching a podcast? Okay, it was a podcast, yes, a men podcast, and this guy is saying something like he can deal with his wife any more than him in Nigeria. But one of the reasons why he's not jackparing is that his wife will be able to find a better job faster than him over there. And like, his wife is already top tier here, working multinational and is on top. She's like director level, making decisions and doing all of that. And he's saying that he will not jackpot because when they get there, the wife will get a better job faster than him and make more money than him. And he really doesn't think that he can deal with it. And there are people like that. What he's saying is that, okay, if this woman says, okay, can we leave this place and go? Yeah. The only reason why he cannot do that is because he knows his wife earns more than him, or is going to earn more than him, and he cannot deal with it outside of this Nigeria. He can't deal with it for whatever reason. He says he can't deal with it. And yeah, can you imagine that mentality? That's the kind of mentality that doesn't give the woman wings to fly. So you are in a relationship with someone like that, and he doesn't think that you should fly more than him. Yeah, there are men who are so terribly, whether it's traditional to call it rubbish culture, that they don't think that a woman should do better than them. And so you constantly have to remain under him. If you are going to earn, just don't be ambitious. They don't want you to be ambitious. I mean, I've heard a man say something like, when a woman makes money, she wants to lord it over a man. So that's why he's afraid of the wife making more money. I mean, a man opened his mouth and said, I'm afraid of my wife actually making money because she's going to want to lord it over me in this marriage. And I do not. And this is a man that never gives the wives any support. She wants to do a business, he kicks against it. She wants to go back to school, he kicks against it. She wants to get a job, he kicks against it. He just wants her to stay at home and do nothing. So that that way he can constantly keep her under. Can you imagine that kind of mentality? And then you watch someone like that, and then you get into a relationship and you can stay frustrated for the rest of your life because I've seen it happen and I find it very, sometimes unbelievable, sometimes it's, but you can see this is who this person is. They really do not care about you like that. They just like the idea of a wife and they like the idea of children. They like the idea of family because it's a cultural thing. Like it's something that we've had over time. Everybody just goes that way. But the relationship is not a relationship. It's just boss servant situation. You answer to me. Like, so I don't want you to make so much money. You need to remain under constantly. It's a terrible thing. And I would ask myself, so what were you guys talking about? Didn't you figure that this guy's modus operandi? Like this is their mode. Did you figure it? Like you can hear in the conversations people like that have when they say, a woman should, they will tell you if you ask them simple questions like, what do you think? Like what do you think? Like when we get married, how should the money in the home be spent, or how should the money? When you start talking about finances, talking about maybe simple things like what should be a woman's role and all of that, you hear them say how their mother used to be. My mother never talked to my father. My mother listened to everything my father said. So a good woman used to do like this. Just ask him what a good woman is. Let him explain to you. You'll be shocked. The kind of person you're about to spend the rest of your life with. And the women who are stuck in this situation, they really can't do anything about it because you know that this African situation, marriage is the ultimate. You can't leave your marriage. You can't even ask for excuse to take a break so that you can breathe. You can't. You must stay there. And of course, the women are willing to stay. And I mean, it's good for them and no issues. But that woman is going to be miserable for the rest of her life. That woman is going to live like she's a nobody. That she's going to live like I mean, a human being should also have a desire to do better, should also have goals, should have ambition. And somebody is having an ambition, is not being encouraged by their so-called significant other. They are not being encouraged to do better. They are not being pushed. I mean, look at a lot of women who do well. It's because they have supportive spouses. Those of them that are in relationship or in marriage, they have really supportive spouses. People who they know, okay, they can leave the children with. Oh, I need to travel for a training. They leave the children with their husbands and go for a training. So imagine getting married to someone who doesn't think that a woman should even be ambitious for any reason. Because I heard a man say, "What are you using your money to do? Like, what is a woman looking for money for?" And I'm like,
Okay.
so what do you want her to do? When she wants biscuits, she comes to you. When she wants chewing gum, she comes to you. Because why are you asking her, what do you need money for? Like, does it make sense to ask an adult, what do you need money for? There are still people who still take care of their parents. Are they supposed to come to you for everything? Like even you don't you want to be alive for long because you want to carry everything on your head so that you can remain a man. Because that's the definition of a man. A man is someone that stands on top of everybody and he balances. I mean, this is the reality of a lot of women, and it's because these things are not being paid attention to. When people are having relationship, they're not paying attention to these things. They're not concerned about these things. They don't even think that these things matter, but the signs are there. The signs are there, and they shouldn't be ignored. Thank you, Emelium.
Can
Go
you
on,
hear me?
Emelium. Go on. I'm done.
So like you said, there are so so many red flags, so many things that should not be ignored. One of it I know is a man thinking that your opinion is not care about what you think about certain things. What they just care is their opinion. Is their opinion that matters. So if you see such a person, that's a red flag. Let's say for example, he has this kind of opinion. Okay, as a man, I saw a guy. I've had and this thing before with a guy, a conversation with a guy, and he said, if I should get married today, my woman is not working. The day the day of the wedding, that's when her profession dies. Her profession dies that particular day. So they feel like I don't term. Okay, so it is only what he wants you to do, that is what you are to do. So that's why it is always very important for ladies to have deep conversations with the man they intend to marry. It's not everything that is about, oh, I want shawarma, oh, I want this, I love you, I love you. There are some deep things that you should have, deep conversations. Because, like, for example, that conversation I had with that young man, I was asking, okay, what is your opinion about terms? Women are like where you have a toy, where you buy a pet, like a puppy. So when you tell the puppy sit here, the puppy sits here. When you feed the puppy does this. So when the puppy obeys you in every way, then the way you love your pet, that is the same way you now share that love with a woman. So you can imagine the kind of ideology that kind of a person is having. So I was like, okay, now there's this saying that men says, oh, when I get married, I wouldn't want my wife to work. He said, yes, because when a man marries a woman, it is in the man's place to decide if he wants his woman to work or not. That he is the one that wants you to work. That as a woman, you do not have the right to argue whether to work in your husband's house or not. So imagine that kind of a mentality. A man telling you that as a woman, you do not have the right to argue whether to work or not. That it is the place of your husband to decide whether you will work or not. That even if you have gotten to a point of you becoming a professor, that it does not matter. That as long as you are married, that what your husband wants you, that if he says stay in the house, even if you are earning as a professor more than him, resign from your work, stay at home and take care of the children. That after all, he is your husband, he is the head. So imagine that kind of a mentality. That shows that we have men who has this kind of opinions, and that young man, I'm sure he has girls that, or let's say he might be in a situation with him. They just know that is I love you, I love you back, I love you, I love you too, and so on and so forth. So there are men that just believe that they just look down on women. They use derogatory terms on them. They just feel that as a woman you are worthless. You are just let me say, because they say and helpmate. So you have to assist the man and not to go there to drag equality with men, because according to them, they say women that feels that they should work and the man is working, that they are dragging equality. So as a woman, just get to know the opinion of what that man thinks about you. And then another thing is a man shifting blames all the times. He doesn't want to take accountability for whatever he does. He is always shifting blames. Everything, you are the cause. Everything he does, everything that goes wrong, it is always pushed back to you. He will always want to coin it in a way, in a method that will make it look like you were the reason for it. I have lived with a couple before. The husband has this habit of always blaming the wife, even when he is wrong. He will go out there, he will cheat, successfully comes back to the house, and when the wife figures out that he cheated, he'll be like, now, so you just put to bed now. What was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to stay like that? You just gave birth, and then they say that I should not touch you. So I have no other option than to go. I am a man. What is the woman? Oh, because you put to bed now. You put to bed. So it was, you know, there was no way I could help myself. So it is your fault. It's your fault that you gave birth to our baby, and if he goes out and, or let's just say maybe the lady told warn him out against betting and he bet and end up losing, he will come and say, the thing is that you were the one when okay, since I wanted leave, why didn't you drag me back? Why didn't you force me and drag me back? That is just one thing about you women. You will just keep quiet and then you are blaming oh God. It was always very painful because me when I sit down I see, and I was looking at him, but I didn't just want to put mouth in husband and wife matter, because that was clearly someone pushing blame. So no matter what this human being does, he will never take accountability for it. He will always push it to the wife because he knows that she will do better than to accept her fate. And it's not as if this kind of things you don't see it in relationships. Before it occurs to some ladies decide to turn blind eye towards all these signs. And when it begins to manifest in marriage, it's already too late. Or you can still divorce, but whereas in relationship it isn't like that. So men that push blames on women when they're supposed to take accountability is a red flag that shouldn't be ignored. Then another red flag is people that they cannot deal with, they can't just stay with one woman. They can't just be satisfied with just one woman. And they will always blame you, they will always preach it to you that it is in a man's position, that it is in a man's it is in their blood, that is why in the Bible they'll use the Bible as example, that they get married to many women. I've seen how men will work, even that same couple I'm talking about, the husband, he will be working with his wife. You should see this wife, very beautiful lady, but a lady will just pass by and the man will just, he will lost everything. The next thing you will see him out, then you are just so lost in thought because another person, another woman passed by. So anything on skirt, these people are ready to devour. They just can't stay on their own without thinking about cheating. They just believe that men are like, they say that they are what, polygamous in nature. So when you also have, when you have a partner and he's always telling you that men are polygamous in nature, men are polygamous in nature, men can't stay with one woman, and think it is a red flag, because that guy will so cheat on you. He will continue cheating on you because he had made it clear to you that men are polygamous in nature. So he will go around with every system that are on skirt and do whatever. And so you don't have a say. You wouldn't say anything because he already made it clear to you. So there are men that are like that. All these signs are things that shouldn't be ignored, irrespective of what that person have or whatever you think. These are things that if you get married to people like this, it might become worse. And at the end, I know of a guy that he knows the guy's father is like that. So when they were single, the mom already saw this trait, but she just, oh, let me just get married to him and then I can adjust. But then this man slept with all the house help they've brought to the house. Anything, all the house help, they end up running. And at the end, he rendered these people useless because he sold the house. They were still living in their house. The father sold it without their knowledge. Sold it because of his extravagant lifestyle on how to please all these numerous women. Because for you to keep these women, you need money. So he has spent all the money he had no other option than to sell his own house, telling the wife to, don't worry, we will buy land and build a better house. And the wife, they had to pack to live with the sister. He went and impregnate one other lady, now carry that one bam to the village. And that one now is the second wife. So these are things that It's not be ignored in marriage or in relationships. Let's not even go into marriage, in relationships, because that's the earlier stages in relationship. So let me ask this last question. So what can we advise to ladies who have seen these signs in their relationships, these red flags? Are there, what do you advise them to do?
I think it's quite simple and straightforward, except of course they choose to do otherwise, and in choosing to do otherwise, one would assume that they know and they are pretty they are aware and they are ready to bear the consequences. And they are ready to bear the consequences that comes with agreeing to go long term, despite seeing the current situation. Okay, so for me, I'd say if you find something that you know that you can't deal with long term, from the least, I mean, from the smallest thing, like, oh, he doesn't like to flush his poo when he's done. My mother that you shouldn't, as an adult or even as a child self, you don't allow people to come and collide with your poo. Why should you do that as an adult? A grown person, maybe in their 40s or in their late 30s or even in their early 30s or even in their 20s, someone has to come and collide with your poo poo. Why do you put somebody through such a traumatic experience? Even as little as that, you should walk away. Because they ain't gonna change. There's no way they are going to change. They say they don't. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. This guy is used to it. Maybe last born, everybody used to say, "Don't touch him, don't touch him, don't touch him." Now he expects you not to touch him either. So he finishes it and he doesn't clear the lot of the house. He doesn't pick his plate. He doesn't wash. He doesn't help with anything. You know, doesn't. I mean, it doesn't help with anything, and he really doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to clean the house. He doesn't know how to cook. He doesn't know the way to the market. There are people who can't deal with that. There are people who wants help. I mean, there are people who work long hours and expect that, okay, maybe if I'm not home early today, my husband can actually fix something, then dinner is ready before I come back. I mean, and it's superb. Like, you're tired and you're coming back. If he came back before you, what stops him from even, just fixing something? Oh, honey, can we just have this instead? There are people that you come back from that work, they will say it's pounded yam or nothing. And they will say the soup has to be fresh. Yeah, it has to be fresh. The Lord wants to eat fresh soup. But you're tired, you're exhausted. There, there are people like that who say it has to be fresh every single day. And so everybody has their threshold for endurance. So if you can deal with it, by all means, be our guest. Just let us not see you hide ID anywhere. If you hide ID on social media, you're in trouble. Don't hide any ID. Don't hide my ID. Hide my. Don't try them. You sure you can deal with it? Like, oh, it's nothing. I can always pick up after him. I can always flush the toilet. No, and this is nothing. I can wash his box. Even if he wants me to help him shave, he can lift his hand. I will do it for him. Fine. If you're gonna deal with it, no wahala. It's your life, right? Yeah. Me don't want anybody explanation, Shibi. But make sure you don't come and be hiding idea and be saying my husband has been doing like this, because you already know that he wasn't going to change. Or even if he was going to change, you do not have the patience to deal with that situation long term. And that's what we're saying. If you can't deal with it long term, there's no reason why you should put yourself through that. You're going to be depressed, you're going to be sad, you're going to just, that relationship will just lose taste for mouth, because the thing that was supposed to be lovely, the thing that's supposed to be sweet, the thing that's supposed to excite you is gone. Every day you're dealing with one bad character or the other that you really shouldn't have to deal with because you are not his mother. So yeah, what should women do? Walk away. It's just a relationship. Yes, I know you should not get used to walking away from stuff. Like, yes, there are some that you can actually walk through with him to help him if he's willing. Yeah, there has to be that willingness to do better. But because most people don't accept that they are wrong. Most people don't see anything. You see an old man walking, finish peeing, doesn't flush the toilet, and it's like, what's the big deal? You know that you're in trouble. They're like, what's the big deal? And then they pull, what's that? Like, it's nothing now. You flush it. If I did not flush it, what I do? Big problem. And so what should you be doing? You should be walking away. But if you cannot walk away, make sure you can deal with it. Yes, sincerely, I really think that people should just stick to people that they know that they can go the long, because that love that is happening now may not last. Yes, by the time you get married, by the time you're getting older, your interests are changing, your concerns are changing, you are thinking about calculating money for school fees, you're thinking about to keep up with the way life is changing and all of those things, all of your interests, you have to work up even libido self to do, that kind of. Yes, you have to now, marriage is now extra work for you. Like love, that love that used to come easy is not coming easy again. You have to work it up, like you gas fire am like engine, make it work. Because it's work actually. And so it has to be, you have to be with someone who makes that work easy, who makes that work something joyful, like you're willing to do that thing joyfully. Not someone that you are going to have to be struggling to have a conversation with, someone who doesn't agree that they are wrong, someone who never says sorry, who never apologizes for anything, who just never agrees that they are wrong because their father never said sorry. So these are the things that we should be talking about. We should be paying attention to. Don't go long term with someone who you don't know if you're going to endure that situation long term. Yeah. I mean, the days have passed where they say they used to endure marriage. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're gonna grow old and just die too fast. Don't do that. Really don't do it. Make the choice. Yes, you're not going to find anybody that's perfect, but at least let it be that whatever you're dealing with is something that you can deal with. Like something that you can easily, like if somebody, somebody is, if for instance, your husband is someone who doesn't know how to cook, you know that you can cook every Saturday, stock up the fridge, and it's not an issue. All you just do is warm. Okay, can you warm rice? Like, sir, can you boil rice? If you cannot cook soup, you dey boil rice, you dey boil water. Okay, if you boil water, make eba. So you can deal with that one shit. But when it's a situation whereby maybe it's something serious, like somebody that is not ambitious, doesn't want you to work, he doesn't want you to earn more than him, and you are someone who's ambitious, who's restless, if they are not actively working on a project, like they are not trying to meet deadlines, you're already depressed. And then you now went and married someone that's okay. Please don't be ambitious around me. Don't want to get another degree. Don't want to travel to Dubai. Don't want to do a bigger business. Don't want to go to China. And then it's not a struggle because you have to explain yourself every second. No. There's no need. And if you are pitying the fact that, maybe we've been here for a while, let's just do it, and then you are going to pity and go long term, don't worry, there's somebody for him. There's somebody for everybody. I promise you. I promise you, there's somebody for everybody. You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked that guy will marry one better girl that is just okay. I mean, I spoke to a friend once and they were like, okay, my wife is an accountant. I'm trying to get her to do what I can. But my wife says she prefers to be a full-timer housewife and that she's content. He says he wants her to become a professional, get a job. Girl says she wants to stay at home. I mean, and then there are men who are struggling to put their wives at home, who don't want to stay at home. But there's a girl like that wants to stay at home. You did not find that one and marry. And so if you're afraid that there is someone for everyone, I mean, someone who totally understands the situation, someone who's willing to flush after him, someone who's willing to pick up their pants, pick up their socks without complaining, who never minds, just bends over, someone who learned how to do that without. There's someone for everyone, and so there's no reason why you should endure something that could become a dangerous situation, a depressing situation, a troublesome situation in the future for you. No need. Do yourself a favor and walk away. Yes, no matter how long, you just say, okay, see, this thing, I don't think I can enjoy it long term. I don't think I can deal with it. And so you tell them, okay, you tell them, and then you walk away. Yeah, you are not willing to change. You've talked about it over and over again, but you're not changing. There are women who say, "Oh, if he just provides for me, I don't care." I mean, it comes back to the house. I really don't care if he's a womanizer. Yes, they say that, and then eventually in the future they find out that they don't like that. They don't like a man who doesn't stay in one place because he'll be bringing STIs, all shapes, all forms, all manner, and bringing it back home. But you, in the beginning, you said, oh, if he just pays my bills, I mean, it's good to go, he takes care of me, and I don't mind. And all of a sudden, you realize that this guy is everywhere. You're married, but he's everywhere. You don't, I mean, I saw someone who, the wife didn't even leave, just left for maybe holiday or weekend break or something. Bam! They didn't sleep in the house. And some of them are like that. But the women say, oh, I don't mind. He has the money, takes care of the family, pays the bills, and every other thing is free to do as he wants. And then 10 years down the line, 3 years, 4 years, you realize it's not the way to go. But some of them have to stay with it because they agreed. They agreed that it was okay. Eventually, some of them find the courage to walk away, but others just stick around till somebody gives somebody something that just offs the person and they are gone. Why put yourself in that? And so the only advice I have is if that situation is not good enough for you and you're not gonna last in it long term, don't go, don't start, don't begin, don't even try it, don't walk away. Walk away. Yeah. So I mean, this is why we should be having conversations in courtship. Should be having conversations in while dating. Have conversation. Ask questions like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think we should do about this? Oh, what if we got married, we don't want children again? What should we do about contraceptives? You know, stuff like that. Family planning. What do you think about it? Talk to them so that you know exactly where this person stands with you. Like, are we on the same page? Do we agree about really key issues? Do we agree on them? Oh, yeah, like you really cannot be with someone who says they want to jack, but you say you don't want to jack. Who says they want 4 children? You say you just want one. Who says you must have 10 like my mother did? But you say you are tired, you're traumatized by the two you went through, and they are not willing to understand. No, you can't. That's why you should have conversations while you're courting, while you're in a relationship, while you're dating. All right, so I don't know, Medium and Metabel dropped off because of network, and so this is what we're saying. Feel free to drop your experiences, tell us other red flags, because they are inexhaustible. Everybody has things that they really can't deal with. There are people who can't even deal with someone who doesn't shower twice a day. Like, oh, when you're coming to bed, you need to be smelling fresh. And then this guy is here, he wears that one boxers 1 week, and you're there trying to manage it. Maybe there's a way I can change it. It will not change. So if you love him enough to stay, just stay and close your mouth and maybe trust the Holy Ghost, if you believe in God. Because if you're going to change, you're talking about change, forget it, it's far. An old man, you don't know what you're talking about. Or unless you're the one that will now be dragging him, put water, say come and bath, then you now bring new boxer, say change it, stuff like that. What a way to care for a new baby that you got married to. So yeah, that's why we talk about those things, and there are things that you really shouldn't ignore. Talk about them. Don't get involved with someone who is stingy. If you're someone who is generous and you want to be given back, don't get involved with someone who's stingy, who doesn't give, who who likes to keep everything to themselves. Don't get involved with people like that. If you're someone who is ambitious, don't get involved with someone who doesn't care, just wants it more, just wants to be there. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. They're going to drag you down to their levels. So don't do that. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you think. We'd love to hear some of the red flags you think you've encountered, some things you couldn't deal with in a relationship. And we should really start talking about these things. And I think it will save a lot of stress in the long run. There are people who want people who have money, like who want people who are doing well financially. They shouldn't settle for people because, oh, let me manage, oh, I'm old, and don't settle for that. Like if you want someone who is at a certain level, go for that. Will give you some joy, you know. But don't settle with the one that you'll be grumbling every day. Destroy that relationship. You destroy that person. You destroy yourself. Yeah, so feel free to drop your comments, observations, talk about experiences you've been through, what kind of red flags you've had to endure, what kind of red flags you don't think you could ever go through, like you can ever close your eyes, shut your eyes to. Let's talk about these things more. I think we would have better relationships and even eventually better marriages. All right, thank you for joining us. Bye bye. Oh, wait. Yeah, fine. You finish it? Yes. But bye.